Time to get agitated, Bobcat fans. It's time for Bobcat Tracks with Jungle Jake Ramada and Mighty Mike Schultze.
All right, hit record. We're just going to start. How was your summer, Ali?
Oh, my God.
You went to Canada for a little bit.
I did. I hadn't been home in 3 years.
Wow.
And the last time my family saw my kids, Addison was 1 and Duncan was 3. Wow. And now they're 4 and 6. So we had some serious cousin time. I'm one of 6 kids, and I hadn't seen my mom and hung out with my family in a really long time. So we lived it up. The cousins just played for endless amounts of hours, and I hung out with my siblings and my mom, so it was pretty special.
How tough was it just not being able to go home like that?
I don't even know if I could talk about it. It was that hard. Yeah. It was really, really, really hard. Yeah, it was tough.
So what did you guys do as a family then, since you haven't seen each other in a while? And, I mean, you guys do any special family bonding, like game nights, or you guys go somewhere? Or?
Well, there were... How many grandkids were hanging out every day? I was spoilt rotten. My backyard when I grew up was the beach. So we actually rented some... my sister rented a house in the little town that I grew up in. We got an Airbnb like around the corner. We literally beached it.
So cool.
Like went crabbing. We played on the sandbars. Duncan was in skimboard camp. I grew up skimboarding like on the beach and stuff. So it was based around food and the beach and just trying to relax because no one has relaxed in 3 years. So yeah, it was incredible.
And you're from British Columbia.
I am. Yeah.
What was it like growing up there? Because I mean, our demographic podcast-wise is no one. I think maybe we have one listener from Canada. Shout out to them, by the way. So
this is my mom.
So describe what it was like living up there. Like you said, I mean, beach life, and it's Delta.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I'm about 45 minutes south of downtown Vancouver, and Vancouver is situated. You know, the beaches are right there, and the mountains are right behind Vancouver. One of my sisters lives in the North Shore, which is like the base of the local mountains, and then Whistler is an hour from there. So like I said, I was spoilt rotten with where I grew up. It's like one of the most beautiful places on the planet. We lived on the beach, and then I used to ski race, so we were in the mountains in Whistler every weekend when it was the winter time. So you had the perfect balance of beach life and mountain life. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's so cool.
Yeah, like so blessed. So blessed. Yeah.
That's wild. I haven't been to Canada. I would like to go.
It's very big.
What are your somebody who's never been to Canada, what are your 3 things you have to do when you go to Canada?
Well, you go to British Columbia.
Okay. Screw Toronto. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, Toronto fans.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Like I said, I'm a beach girl and a mountain girl, so the outdoors. We were always outside. Like every waking moment was outside. So if you're going, honestly, the West Coast is a pretty special place to be. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how'd you get into field hockey then?
Actually, my neighbor growing up, literally down the street from me, she played. I was about 8, like 7 or 8, and she just said, "You have to play this sport." And so I did one day, and then I went to practice. And they didn't have anything for people my age at that time. And so I played on the under-13 team, and I just loved it. And then my whole family played. Mm-hmm. Yeah, all my siblings, my brother played. At one point, there was like 3 of us, like 3 sisters on one team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Wow.
So I've played since I was 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You played for the national team, correct?
I did, yeah.
How was that experience getting to travel the world, on the national team?
Oh, I mean, I used to joke that I was the richest, poorest person on the planet because I'd been traveling. We traveled the world, but Canada's not. You don't really. If you're on the national team, you don't make money. You barely make enough to live in the city because Vancouver is crazy expensive. So we used to actually pay to play. We would get money from the government, but then it would cost money to be on the team and to do the tours. So. Yeah, we had like 5 of us shoved into a basement suite. It's really not even a 1-bedroom, and there was 5 of us, like 1 sleeping in the closet, 2 are sleeping in another half closet, like some on the living room floor, and we lived off peanut butter and jam, and
Wow.
Every Sunday, I'd just beg my parents, and my mom would make a lasagna and just stuff us every Sunday. So, I mean, it was amazing. Played in South Africa, lived in Germany, played in Germany for a year. God, played in Argentina, Australia a couple times, and Barbados a couple times, Cuba. Yeah, all over Europe. It was amazing. Yeah, made no money whatsoever and lived off peanut butter and jam. I ate peanut butter and jam on every country I've been to.
But, like, would you rather have it any other way? I mean, you're traveling, you're getting all this life experience, but, like, okay, peanut butter and jam, I can deal with that. But I'm in this country today, and then the next few days I'm in this country.
Yeah, I would do it a million times over
Yeah.
with the same. Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing.
Of all the places you went to, what was the biggest culture shock?
Oh, probably we played in South Africa, so then we traveled to, I was super lucky, we got to stay a little bit longer, and we traveled through Mozambique. And then I had a friend in Botswana. So, yeah, Mozambique was interesting because we just kind of got dropped off on this little bus.
Yeah.
Because we got some kind of bus from South Africa down to Mozambique. And then I had a family friend that was there. And we were literally walking around. We didn't really know where we were. We got dropped off in Maputo. And then this tree had a phone in it. And this guy kept, like, waving me over. And I thought he was just, like, waving because we obviously didn't fit in with our backpacks, little couple nerds walking up and down the street, and he just kept waving me over. I was like, oh man. So I go over and he's like, the phone call's for you. And it was a family friend and it was like a tree, like literally the phone was hanging on a tree, and I just started laughing so hard. I was like, this is amazing. The guy, my family friend, had described what I looked like, and the guy found me, and so then I was on the phone attached to a tree. It was hysterical.
So this phone had, like, a specific number that you could call, right?
It was the bus depot, but it was attached to a tree. Yeah, and I didn't know it was real. It was awesome. It was so cool. Yeah.
I'd be a little sketched out.
Well, I didn't know. I thought this guy was.
Well, that's why.
I thought it was kind of like a toy. But
Yeah.
it wasn't. It was the depot
crazy.
tree. The depot phone tree.
That's wild. Oh my gosh.
It was fun.
I always love just talking. I mean, when we talked to Joel about wrestling in Cuba too, just what were the cultures like, and how different, I guess, the experiences are overseas. So I'm glad you brought that tree story to us. Phone on a tree story.
The phone in the tree. It makes you realize how spoiled you are, to be honest. That trip was just really eye-opening, and it made me, I appreciated everything I had, but it's to the it's exponential when you go. Like, we played in Cuba too, and the Cuban national team, they didn't have any funding. Like, the women's Cuban field hockey team, we trained there when I was on the junior national team, and they just couldn't believe our gear, and gear as in, like, shin pads, like protective gear. So when we left, honestly, like, we left bags of, like, sports bras, socks, shin pads. We left everything for them. Like, it was, they just kept saying, after we had a match, they were like, how do you get this, and what is this? And I was like, I couldn't believe it. So like, our whole team, we left all our gear for them, and I was like, I can't believe, something as simple as shin pads, where in our sport you need to have those. So it's eye-opening, and it's definitely, it changes your appreciation level. Yeah, more than anything.
What was a place that you really liked playing at, whether it be because of the venue or, I guess I'm just thinking of venue in maybe a memorable game or something.
Oh, Argentina.
Yeah.
Hockey's huge in Argentina. We had the Junior World Cup there, and it was massive and so loud, crazy loud, and the drums and the energy. That was incredible. And then Australia, it's also really big in Australia, and I was there for the Commonwealth Games. So opening ceremonies, it's like mini Olympics. So you, like, literally go through the opening ceremonies, and their stadiums are massive because hockey's really big in Australia. So that was really fun. The stands were packed with, people from all over. Well, the Commonwealth countries anyways, but so Argentina, that was really fun. The energy is just ridiculous, and their passion and just, like, the music. There's just music everywhere. And then Australia is just, there's a huge crowds because they love hockey, so it's awesome.
I guess I could see Australia.
Yeah.
But Argentina, to me, kind of kind of shocks me. Maybe it's just because I'm ignorant. I don't know a lot about the sport of field hockey, just in general. But I mean, to me, like Argentina, I think soccer.
Yeah.
But I mean, field hockey. That's intriguing. That's really cool.
Same passion.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're good. Like Argentina's always, top 4, if not one of the best. So
No way.
I mean, Holland right now is doing really well. But Argentina's like always up there. They always have like really fancy, like really skilled, incredible players.
Yeah.
And yeah, their passion. Same as soccer. You just like it's their culture.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
I know you recruit a lot internationally.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever recruited anybody out of Argentina, or is that maybe a dumb question?
No, it's not a dumb
Okay.
question. A lot of schools recruit out of Argentina. We just
Okay.
I just have had players mostly from Europe, and it just is word of mouth. So it's just been easier. But we always look in Argentina for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the process in finding one of those players? And you said it's word of mouth, but it's got to be tough, right? To evaluate their skill level and see if they're a good player.
You rely heavily on their video and the video quality. So, and you have to decipher. You have to understand like the leagues and how the leagues work. So, I played in Germany, so I know a lot of the clubs and I know how the system works. And same with Holland. It's just and England and Belgium. Just that system is. What if they tell you what team they're playing for and what league they're in, then you know their skill level. Argentina, I'm just not as strong in understanding their club system.
Why do those players in Europe decide to play collegiate in the U.S.? Like what? Like, 'cause I'm sure not all of them make that decision. So what's the draw to come to the U.S. and play?
The draw is being able to do school and hockey at the same time. It's completely separate. Like the European countries don't they have it, but that's not the good hockey. The good hockey is the club hockey. Whereas in America, the club hockey, there's not really club hockey in after high school. There's a little bit in the adult club pickup hockey types, and some of the clubs are pretty good, but the club system is just their culture. It's the way they are raised. They're raised in a club, like their parents played, and it's more of a lifestyle. So hockey and school don't go together in Europe.
Okay.
And here is just a whole new world. So they get to do both at the same time, and it's high-level hockey and education at the same time. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Do you ever recruit somebody that says, I'm good, I just want to keep playing club in Europe?
Yeah, typically we would only reach out to the players that have. There's a few recruiting services, and some of them have already been players here, so they understand the system, and they explain what life is like here, and what your experience would be like. And we typically only speak to those ones that are even interested. Otherwise, they already have interest, and we just explain, as honestly, this is what it feels like. The life is different. The demand of being in school and playing at the same time. It's just, it's different, but those are the ones we end up talking to. Yeah.
Do you ever get kids that are a couple years older because of that, or do you really stick to 17, 18?
Yeah, we stick to the ones that are age appropriate. Every once in a while, one or two, there's a handful that decided their friend went and played, and then they came home and they're in that club and they're like, oh my gosh, I would really like to try that. So you can get a transfer, but a lot of them, it's pretty well known now, so they typically are at that age that they would. They recruit a lot later, so they don't decide. American kids are thinking in sophomore year, end of sophomore year, they're all geared up, ready to go. Well, Europeans, not until their senior year, they're like, oh, that'd be really cool to go to America. And then, so that's one that, not all of them, but more heavy towards the end of junior year.
Sure.
Through senior year, yeah. Different timeline.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. What do you think is the most common thing when, any international student that comes and plays for you, what's one thing that, maybe they struggle with or they find something difficult? And it can be serious or it can be something kind of funny and lighter. Whether, it could be serious, it could be lighter or funny. But what do you think is the most common thing you have to help them with when they get here?
Well, the most immediate, it is serious, but homesickness.
Yes.
Yeah, your parents are not a drive away. Most of our Americans can hop in a car and be home at 6, between 0 and 6 hours. So that part's hard. It's a totally different time zone. The weather, like the humidity here, just like I remember hitting the humidity here, I was sick. I did not understand what humidity was. Again, spoiled on the West Coast. So that hits them. But the funny one is like the food. Like the bread is gross. The chocolate's gross. Like they just like, why? Why do Americans eat this? Like it's gonna be a shock. Like you have to go to like a proper bakery to get, you know, your bread that you love and the cheeses that you love. You need to go to the deli you know, because they're like American cheese, yuck.
Yeah.
You know? So that's always funny when you, listen to them talk about the food and the portion size. Like, it's so big. They're like, why? I was like, I don't know.
Well, okay, so there's a smaller than overseas.
Well, they just like America's just like. Yeah. Just big. Everything is big. Like the stores are massive. Going through the grocery stores are, you know, it's like Walmart is insane. Why do you have a Walmart?
Yeah, they don't have room.
Yeah.
Got room.
Yeah, they don't have. Yeah, they don't. Yeah, I know. We got so much space that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, I love
that. My wife's best friend in high school was a German exchange student who she actually fell in love with American cheese and would just eat it like slices. And she
like the Kraft singles?
Yeah, she just loved it.
Oh, no.
She loved it. And she bought like a bunch to take home, and she was like crying on the plane. She told us like she was crying on the plane because she had to leave while eating like American Kraft singles.
That would probably not happen with like our internationals.
Yeah.
They make fun of the American cheese all the time. They're like, that's not cheese, that's plastic.
So how do they, I mean,
I'm like, I don't blame you for saying that.
Well, is it something that they have to just get over? I mean, you
no,
have
just
to, I mean, you have to eat cheese. You have to eat cheese, I guess, right?
Yeah. They eat the cheese, but like the Kraft singles, no, they won't touch that.
I won't either.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know, but like, no, you just have to tell them like where you actually buy it in the grocery store. It can be bought, real cheese, but.
So when you take them, when you're on the road, you obviously have to eat. Are they picky about where you pick to eat?
No, they're so grateful. They're so grateful. They can't believe that we order them food, and they're so grateful. Yeah, no, it's never an issue at all.
That's funny. Well, you never know with American restaurant and I mean, you're not. I don't know. I mean, to me, Jimmy John's is gross. So I don't know if it's
they're not going to Texas Roadhouse in Germany.
Well,
you're telling me, or whatever.
My team loves Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Oh, I mean, I do too.
The bread.
Yeah,
the bread's phenomenal.
We've been to every Texas Roadhouse in the MAC.
There you go.
Yes, we have.
That's what happens when you travel with Bob Bolden.
Yeah.
That's another conversation.
Well, he only eats 3 things.
Yeah. We normally talk about your team very early on in interviews. When we talk to coaches, we normally get all the X's and O's and talking shop out early, but we decided to go into your time in Canada and British Columbia and stuff. So
yeah, we should probably talk about Ohio.
We should probably talk about your team, actually, because a lot of our listeners are interested. If you could describe your group in one term or maybe a sentence, what would that term or word or sentence be this year?
Oh, man. This is a special group. Like I would say, like one word would be sparkle. Like they have a sparkle in their eye. They're excited to be there. They're thankful and grateful to have the opportunity to play. Like COVID was pretty brutal, and a lot of people missed out. And they're just. I think we've worked really hard last year on, the thought process and like how hard. We tried to approach like what we went through was really, really hard, and we need to take time to reflect on that. So we did a lot of that in the spring, and we're trying to help the incomings with that as well. And it's just like revived energy. We think we're getting through that tunnel because it's been a pretty dark tunnel for like so many people and so many athletes and just everyone in general. So we worked really hard in the spring for that. And yeah, I would say sparkle, honestly. Like we giggle all the time. Like it's funny. We just keep saying like this is fun. Like everything's funny to us right now. Like yeah, so it's fun. We're excited. It's good energy.
They did not stop laughing on Saturday during the
media day.
I bet. I was like, I'm staying way away from this. Yeah,
I felt bad. They were very very good group. We had a little lighting issue, so it took a little longer.
Oh well, that's life.
But they were phenomenal.
Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah, like they're funny. They're funny. They're quirky and wonderful and hilarious.
Well, I asked them to write out all their names phonetically.
How'd that go?
How did that
go? It took a
go?
long time.
Do they know how to write it out phonetically? Because
Well,
that's a good question.
Some of them did, some of them did not. A lot of the internationals struggled with writing it out, in American English.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's
Makes no sense.
Right. So then we had to describe that, and then so that was a tall task.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we had to figure out how to write out all these non-American names
Yeah.
phonetically.
Yeah.
And some of them were like, "Oh, that's good enough," and I was like, "No, like let's
I
get
know.
it right."
They're
like,
too nice.
Yeah, I was
They're too
like,
nice.
we're not gonna say your name wrong. We send this on the road. Like, let's make
Yeah.
sure we get this right. And that was hard, right?
Yeah.
Get there because they just want to be like, yeah, whatever.
We should have them do their the voiceover. You know how you click on that thing on the website, the little ear
Yes.
or whatever.
Oh,
They
yes.
should do their
Yeah.
own voiceover.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah.
And that is so helpful too.
Yeah.
When you have, I forget the craziest name I had to say was not American, and it was for women's basketball, and obviously that's a fast-paced sport, and so when you're trying to say this, like there are like three hyphens in it, and I'm trying. It's so hard.
Brutal.
And to this day I can't think of the name, but you have 8 freshmen.
Yes.
Which is that a lot? Is that I mean?
mean, typically we have around 5 or 6.
Okay.
We graduated. We had a couple extra stay for the COVID year, and some,
Yeah.
we had more people graduate last year, so we're trying to even it out. We're a little low on our numbers, but I don't know. This group is a fun group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're Minty.
Well, it's Mancha.
Well, no, but she was just telling everybody to call her Minty. And
I
we're
know.
like, no.
I feel so bad because Louise and I didn't know how to say her name when we were recruiting her. So when we had to quick chat between us, we were like, "Yeah, Minty." So so then we kind of joked between us, like, "Oh, I hope she likes the name Minty."
Yeah.
And then Frankie picked her up at the airport and was like, "Yeah, the coaches want to call you Minty." I was like, we should probably ask her first. So she got just tossed into that one. The poor girl. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So we were trying to. Her last name, Lichtenberg.
Lichtenberg. Yeah.
Right. But that's like the Americanized
Yeah.
version of it.
Yeah.
But she was like, just call me Lightenberg. I'm like, no, we're not going to call you Lightenberg. I know that's not your last name. We're not calling you Minty Lightenberg here in America. We're not doing it.
Just completely Americanized her name.
Butcher
Oh, man.
Well, we've butchered Neela's name. I can't. She's still. Yeah. She's too kind too. She's like, just like she doesn't want to go through the match. She's like, just call me Neela.
Yeah.
And the team calls her Nayla or Neela or Nayla.
It's Neela. Right.
Yeah, they call her Neela. That's not her name.
Oh, really?
Absolutely not.
She lied to me.
She's the team calls
she lied
her.
to me.
Yeah, that's not her name.
We gotta have a sit down with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're too nice.
So how do you say her
Oh
name?
no, I'm gonna totally butcher it.
Oh,
She's
you
gonna
were
make
too?
fun of me.
Oh.
I've tried so many times, and she's like, "I'm done with you." I'm like, "Okay." It's like Nayla or something like Nayla.
Nayla.
Nayla. I don't know. She's gonna make fun of me.
Yeah, that's all right.
Because I'm terrible at it.
I mean, I hope this doesn't come out wrong, but that makes me glad I don't broadcast your guys' games.
I bet.
Just because, because obviously,
Brutal.
and that's why having them on YouTube is crucial because the international parents can watch,
Yes.
unlike on ESPN
Absolutely.
and watch ESPN, they can't.
Yeah.
They can't watch the games; they won't have access.
Right.
We struggled with that when one of our volleyball players was from Canada, and her poor dad, he was in the hospital, could not watch the matches, so we'd have to download them and put them on a Dropbox and then send them to him so he could watch.
Yeah.
But and that's one thing I would not want parents making fun of me or even and they seem like such a fun group where they would just be like, Jake doesn't know, something like that. So that makes me kind of glad.
And then Gwen walked in. She's like, my last name's Hirschberger. Do I need to do this? I'm like, no, you don't.
That's a very Harrison City, Hirschberger. Yeah. Thanks, Glenn. Appreciate it.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah.
She's very straightforward. She'll let you know.
Yeah. This is not for you.
It's Hirschberger. Got it.
Thank you. Very Americanized.
How'd the scrimmages go?
Yeah, okay. We were we didn't get a Friday game, so we're 2 days later behind people. And then we did, this is my first year doing it, we did a retreat to Lake Hope, which was awesome. We just needed a time to have team time. Mm-hmm. And so that was 2 days less of hockey, which, to be honest, the cohesion on the team was really important to us. And so we forgave that. So we're about 4 days behind, but yeah, playing against Kent was good. It was the pace wasn't very high, but we did we controlled a lot of the game and probably missed about 75 open nets, but at the end became comical. At first not, and then it was like okay, like. And I joked with one of the internationals, like, "Oh, did you see that cage? It just totally moved. It just shifted right when we shot." And she's like, "What?" Like, yeah, sarcasm in English does not work.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. I find it very interesting that you can scrimmage teams that you will eventually play later on in the year.
Oh yeah, probably. But
because most teams can't do that. I just feel like Ohio football can't.
Oh, like
scrimmage
not
Kent
allowed
State.
to?
I don't know, right?
No.
Just
Well, I think
don't.
there's the travel and amount of teams. And
Yeah.
I think it's just a different.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. Okay. I just find it interesting. That's all.
This is not typical. I've never really. We always scrimmage Ohio State, and we will every year. So they're our closest competition, and we, Jared and I work 1 year. I'll scrimmage there, and they'll come down for a full game. And then the next year we just swap, and we'll go there for their full game, and they'll scrimmage us. So
That's a good relationship.
Yeah.
oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
We can drive in the same day. And then same thing, like we want to scrimmage. The driving distance to our scrimmage opportunities we don't have that many options. So yeah, it just works out that way.
Yeah.
How does it you guys open with Cal?
Yeah.
I'm looking at their schedule now. It's Miami, us, Bellarmine, Indiana, North Carolina. How do they operate? This is an East Coast game.
Well, there's only 3 schools in California that have field hockey, so they're always traveling east.
Right.
Yeah.
That's got to be hellacious.
Yeah, brutal. They more teams need to bring hockey back. Stanford did lose hockey, and then obviously that went down with Stanford, and the alums brought the sports back. So thank goodness we got Stanford back. I don't know when school starts for Cal, but I know I think school hasn't started for them, so they come east, and I think for them, like the Midwest, they can hit a bunch of us,
Right.
and then they do they do a tough travel to start, and then they go back home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
So Stanford, and I think I saw UC Davis
Yep.
on there. Those
Yeah.
are the only 3.
Davis, yeah.
Wow, that's
Are they only 3 west of the Mississippi?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Wait, is Iowa west of Mississippi?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Iowa is.
Okay, so Iowa. might-
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
We
But-
played them last year.
Yeah, because the Mississippi River carves out Iowa's face on the.
Okay,
US
I was
map.
like, where
Yeah,
exactly is the Mississippi?
American
Yeah.
geography.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah,
was like,
well,
why are you doing this to me?
Well, yeah. Right. I mean, sometimes it's
from Canada.
Yeah. That's true too. So they go play. I just find that crazy that they come out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
why Athens? And it makes sense because they just don't have a lot of options out there.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
So do they fly to Columbus and just bus around?
yeah.
So I don't know what Cal's exact plans are, but I know they opened with Miami, so I think they went into Cincy, and then I think she said she's flying out of Columbus afterwards. So,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, we would love to go west. We'll have to just do some more fundraising to
Yeah.
we all try to the schools that can afford it try to help them out as much as possible, but we need more people flying to them so that it's not them all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they have 4 games after Miami, us. So they go, Bellarmine. Did I say that right, Bellarmine?
Yeah, Bellarmine.
Okay, Bellarmine.
Yeah.
Indiana, then North Carolina, Wake Forest, all
Yeah.
in Berkeley, and then they go to New York, New Hampshire, to Rhode Island. Sorry. So that's
crazy.
wild.
Yeah.
Good for them though. For bringing
Yeah.
it back and actually sending their team to have play good competition.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Man,
Yeah.
Berkeley to Maine is it's brutal.
again, I give them kudos because
Absolutely. You have
play,
to. Yeah.
and they have to do it.
Yeah.
And I feel like ice hockey is kind of that way too because there aren't a ton of teams across the country, and I feel like isn't Arizona State in the Big Ten for ice hockey?
They are.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which
I
is
have
wild.
no idea. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and UCLA and USC better get used to this, right? So-
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so you're welcome.
Yeah.
If you have problems, just ask Cal field hockey team
Yeah.
and Davis field hockey team in Stanford. They'll let you know what it's like.
I would like to talk about you getting into coaching.
Oh, into coaching.
You had a very successful career here. Actually, let's get into your career here because that's a lot of.
No?
That was like, no, you don't want to. We don't have to if you don't want to. This is your interview. You dictate whatever we're talking about here.
That was like 20 years ago.
Not that long ago.
That's not that
Actually, yes, 20 years ago.
long. Really? Yeah.
Yeah, we had a 20-year reunion last fall.
How was that?
Awesome. Last minute, COVID, people didn't know. We didn't, we were lucky. We had, so Shelly Morris was my head coach, and she's phenomenal. I love her to pieces. She's one of the reasons I coach. She's such a huge mentor to me. She was the head coach, and Tamara Durante, who's the associate head coach at Michigan State, they're all here. Mm-hmm. So I just reached out to all my teammates and said, they're both here on the same weekend. You have to come. So let's have a celebration. Uh-huh. And Shelly didn't know if her team could come, so I hadn't planned anything. And then boom, Shelly was here, Tamara was here. So we tried to get as many of our 2001 MAC champ team here. Yeah. So that was really fun. Yeah. So I had it was opening weekend or the second weekend, I can't remember. They're literally all at my house, and I'm like, I have a game tomorrow.
I have to go to bed.
Yeah. And, we had a bonfire, and they're just telling ridiculous stories and how fun it was. And I was like, I do have to work tomorrow. So good night. And they're like, what? EJ, you gotta get back here. And I was like, oh no, I'm in charge tomorrow.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I actually have to coach. You guys.
It was so fun.
You guys can be half there. I have to be all there.
Yeah.
What's a fun story? It can be somewhat PG-13 or PG, just up to you that you guys have from your time playing together.
Oh my gosh, oh man, fun story.
Because winning a MAC title, I mean that's huge, and I'm
that
sure
was
you had
awesome.
some great experiences there.
Yeah, my first game when I played here, we lost 13-0.
Against who?
I cried. Boston College.
Oh, okay.
And then my senior year, we beat them. And when I got here, we played on grass. And that was a shock because this sounds terrible, but internet wasn't really around, so I had no idea where I was going. I saw Miami on the schedule, and I was like, sweet, off to Florida. I've never been there. Yeah, well, Miami is not in Florida. It is in Oxford, Ohio.
You got them mixed up.
Yeah, that was rude. I had no idea. We got in the bus. I was like, really? We take a bus to Florida? This is wild.
I could totally see that. You're like, well, I'm going to Miami, Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just go. This looks like a carbon copy of our campus. Yeah. Wow, interesting.
Yeah. So
wait, so you didn't know that we played on grass at the time? Did you not?
I didn't know where Ohio was on a map. I never heard of it.
So you never visited here?
No, I signed August of my senior year. Preseason was 2 weeks later. And I got into the school and somehow through the clearinghouse and got a student visa in 3.5 weeks. So I was a week and a half or 2 weeks late through preseason. Our school didn't start in August, so I had a little bit of time. Yeah, I was this weirdo that showed up to the locker room one day. No one knew who I was. They're like, who's this girl? I just showed up 2 weeks late. But I had just signed a couple weeks before.
I mean, you wind up being a 2-time All-American, no big deal. But
why? Yeah, in the end, yeah.
Why so late?
I was not interested in coming to America. It was my goal was to play in the Canadian national team. And there's a few players at the time who did play down south, and they got shunned from the national team. It was frowned upon. And so Shelly had recruited me. She was at our national tournament in Ontario. So my dad happened to be there, which I was always doing something. And for some reason I got lucky. That year my dad came to watch nationals, and it was in Ontario. So Shelly had driven up and asked my dad, and he's so darn nice that he was chatting away, yeah, sure, I'll tell my daughter. And I was like, Dad, I'm not going to America. Why would you even talk to her? And he's like, Allie, why not?
Yeah.
So then, Shelly called me. The rules were weird. You're allowed one phone call a week or something. And so they kept calling. I was like, no, absolutely not. I don't know who you are. I don't even know where Ohio is.
Yeah. And
then one day, my parents just said, well, why not? I was like, what? Yeah. So my mom sat me down, made me do a pros and cons list.
Yeah.
So I did. And then my dad was like, why not just try it? So I did. And it was awful my first fall. 13-0.
Yeah.
I went from like a provincial team that was winning everything, and my high school team was pretty good, and my club team was pretty good, and I've never lost 13-0 in my life. And I called my dad. I was like, "This was a mistake," and he was like, he's like, "Just don't." He's like, "You can't quit. I'll just, give it a year." And then after that, like, I wasn't as homesick, and then we were in quarters, so we went through spring, met people, and our team was so passionate, and like all my teammates were amazing, and I just fell in love with like this whole system. And then we just said, like, we're going to be good. Like, we're going to be good. So we went from, like, I don't know, like 70th in the country to, like, top 10 by my senior year. Like, it was, and I got to be a part of that. And that was so special. And that group was, all my teammates, they're still, like, my favorite people ever. So, yeah, it's just, I don't know, I got lucky, or I don't know. It's just this place. It sucks you right in.
Is that experience and how positive it was that extra motivation for you when you came back to coach here?
Absolutely. Yeah. Shelly was a huge impact in my life. And I have been blessed with some really amazing coaches. And, being able to have that impact on other people is, it's what motivates me to go through, like, the long days and long weekends and all that kind of stuff. But I love this sport. What I got out of this sport all around the world, and all my experiences are through sport. And it empowered me. It made me a way more confident person. I was like this, this tiny little nugget of a person, and my sister, my older sister would speak for me because I was like a little mousy, little nugget. And sport just, it gave me that opportunity. It taught me the lessons of, like, life is hard, and without sport and having the mentors that I had, like, I don't know, I want to give back to my sport, because what I got out of hockey was, you don't get that everywhere. So I'm so blessed, and if I can have even the slightest impact on someone else, that Shelly and other coaches and my mentor Tracy Fuchs at Northwestern, if I can have that impact, like, then I feel like fulfilled. Really, it's pretty powerful.
When you came here, did you still get to play on the Canadian national team, or did you get shunned?
I did. I got to play.
Wow. So you're just that good, or what?
I think it was like happen chance. Like, I had made at that tournament, you got selected to the junior national team, or the squad. So I went straight from the national tournament to our junior national camp, and I hadn't said yes to America yet. So I was doing junior national camp, and I got selected from the junior national camp to the junior national team, and then I came to America. So I already made it. So I snuck right in there.
Well, I mean, why would they shun kids from coming to America to play?
I think because, like, then the Canadian system loses out on all these players.
Okay.
And so, like, I see both sides. Like, why not keep, like, your top players in house and make the Canadian system nice and strong? The bummer is like, there's so many different avenues for so many different people. Like, I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. Like, if I'm still playing high level hockey, like, we trained in Vancouver. Well, what about the ones that go to U of T? What about the ones that go to University of Waterloo? Like, we're still at different universities. Like, why can't I be down here? But trying to keep the Canadian system nice and strong was, like, the idea at the time. And, like, nothing wrong with it. It just was a thing. It's not like that anymore. There's so many Canadians playing down here. And there's Canadians, like, there's not very many schools in the collegiate system in Canada. So this is just more opportunity, and it makes Canada better if more kids are getting more experience. Like, there's only, the top schools, there's only a handful in Canada that are at that high level, and there's, like, a ton down here. So, yeah.
Maybe it would just be me, just my trait of loyalty. Like, I would definitely, even though I played in America, I would still go back to Canada and play if they asked me to be on the national team.
Oh, yeah. Like, I went through I did the Junior World Cup still playing. Like, Shelly was super helpful, and my professors were amazing, and luckily we're on the quarter system, so I organized and planned my school around me being away for a month of school in a quarter, which is a ton. But I took a class that I could do it like I did my tests, and it just worked out. And then I did a practicum type thing. So I saved those courses for that one year because I was away for a month, almost a whole quarter.
Quarters were great, weren't they?
I love the quarter system.
Yeah, me too.
I would love to have it back.
Well, this was also before, like, I mean, you could do classes online.
Yeah, that didn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I brought my textbooks. I was the only one. Everyone else was done school because they were on semesters. I was at the Junior World Cup with my textbooks, like writing papers, getting ready for my exam that I had the day I landed. Yeah.
So how'd you take the test? Did you just, take the test and then put in a portfolio and mail it?
No, we wrote, like, I'm trying to remember. I've been hit in the head, so, like, what did I do? I was like, I remember doing, like, a psychology class, so I had papers due. And I just handed them in when I got back, because it didn't really matter. Like, it was, as long as you got your work done.
Yeah.
And then one was a practicum, so I basically did, like, the science behind what I had done, like I had to do like my training and what I was eating, like all that kind of stuff for one of my courses. And then the other one was my elective, and it was golf. So I golfed a ton when I got back, just to get whatever hours in I had to get in or something.
Cup life,
Sounds like it.
Yeah. My golf game's still not good, and Kelly will let you know that my swing is messed up.
Do you golf?
Not really. Kelly's tried to help me, but my hockey swing is I just end up trying to be a hockey player when I step up. Yeah.
Speaking of other coaches, a friend of the podcast, Aaron Rodgers, decided one day that he would show up to your practice and be a goalie.
Oh my gosh, that was a great day.
You asked him to, right?
Yeah. I can't remember what happened. We were joking around. Actually, you have to ask Aaron. I can't really remember, but I was like, "Yeah, man, I think one of our keepers was like either sick or injured." And I was like, "We only have one, so like, if you want to come out." And he's like, "Are you serious?" Absolutely. And we had our GA at the time was a goalkeeper, so she had her stuff, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you can wear my stuff." So he came to practice inside. So we were in Ping, so it's pretty quick in Ping. It's like the sport courts. It's really small, but it's wicked fast.
Yeah.
Oh, he got crushed.
Can we do that again?
What? Get him out there?
Yeah.
Oh, you'd have to ask him. It's his kneecap. So.
Well, he said he's down.
Yeah.
This was earlier in the summer.
Oh, smack talker. I love it.
I said, well, because he said that you guys, because you told him not to expose his knees.
Yeah.
And he got drilled. And he told the story on a previous episode of earlier this summer. I don't know if you ever heard it, but it was a classic story, and I felt like I needed your side of it.
Yeah. Oh man, I think Dre was the one. So Dre was our GA at the time. Dre said, "Whatever you do, don't drop to your knees."
Yes.
And
soccer goalies do that it's just an instinct.
They just drop like that, and I was like, I think it was like the second shot he dropped to his knees, and it was boom straight off his top of his knee, and he was in pain. I was like, oh, that's going to leave a mark. And I think for like 3 weeks he had like a welt. And I was like, Dre, this is a really good coaching moment. Try and stay away from don't do that to stay on your feet. Like, because I was like, as soon as he got dropped, and I was like, and our kids weren't holding back because they thought it was so funny. So, yeah, he got a shot to the top of the knee.
Well, why not try to drill the soccer coach? I mean, he's making himself right there. I'm like, I'm going for him. I am strategic.
Oh,
we got to get him back out there.
We do. I think he said he would do this again.
We'll get him back.
Good. Okay, yeah.
We don't want to interrupt practice, but we're going to interrupt.
No, this is good stuff.
Like, even if it's the last 15 minutes of practice.
Oh yeah. We'll get him out there. Yeah.
Deal.
And he's feeling good. You're feeling good about where your teams are at, and
we'll get on camera.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. And it'll be outside. Give him a little bit more opportunity. Like the kid was pretty close. I don't even know who hit it, but it was. He had a good bruise for a really long time. Yeah.
I give kudos to him for going out there though.
Absolutely, he was a champ. Yeah. It was good that he didn't really know how hard that ball was.
Yeah.
Now you know.
Recently, we hired back one of your friends.
Yes, Jenna Hall.
Jenna, also now a friend of the podcast.
Yeah.
What is a fun Jenna story that you can share with us? Because she said that you guys lived together for a little bit.
Yeah.
On our podcast now a couple of weeks ago.
Man.
What is a fun Jenna story that you can tell us? Because I feel like our fans will get to know her and her personality, and they already didn't get to know her and her personality. And the previous episode, but what's a fun Jenna story?
Well, Jenna Hall's hysterical. First of all, she's so funny. Yeah, she used to prank me sometimes. Like, I had saved up all my money to buy a road bike, and she like sabotaged it and stole it and put a ransom note on there, like, if you want this back. Like,
oh no way.
Yeah, and then I don't know if people know this about Jenna, but she loves traffic cones.
What?
Yeah.
Wait.
I don't know if she still does. I'm gonna ask her. Like, she used to have just like little traffic cones. Like, she likes traffic cones. I don't know. Like, you'll have to ask her. It's just the funniest thing.
And does what with them?
Nothing. They're just like, she thinks they're super cute. Like, she likes so she has like mini traffic cones. Like, I don't know. You'd have to ask her why. So you know, Halloween.
Come up.
Yeah. we had one Halloween. Yeah, we had like all the coaches or assistant coaches at our house, and she dressed up. She got like a huge traffic cone, and it was like she just was this cone, and I'm like, how are you gonna sit down?
Yeah,
yeah.
That's so true.
So she couldn't, because I mean the traffic cone was like the height of her.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, all right, good luck, buddy.
Man.
It was awesome.
You shared a story about Jenna that I wish we knew going into the interview, that she scored 1,000 points in high school basketball.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, I didn't know that.
Jenna Hall is a baller. We call her like the shot caller, baller, shot caller. We just make up. We call her Hall J4 because that's her email. I don't know if everybody now people know her email.
That's on the
you can look it up on the website.
I'll blur that one out.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So, oh my gosh, if we were grumpy, if we were sad, we brought out her high school basketball video. And it was the greatest thing you've ever seen, because she's a baller. She scored 1,000 points in high school. She's ridiculous.
Was she a shooter, or was she just like dominate the paint?
Like, again, I've been hit in the head, but I just like all I remember is like this clock counting down how many threes in one game she crushed, and it was like 10 or 11 or something. And it was
we gotta get her out here to show us how it's done.
Yeah.
Oh, she can shoot. I mean, she's ridiculous. Yeah.
Do you have any hidden talents, like something you're good at that not a lot of people know about, like Jenna and basketball and shooting threes?
Well, I can't shoot threes.
Well, I mean, it could be anything. It could be, anything at all.
Oh, hidden talents. Ugh,
Yeah.
no.
Just straight field hockey?
No. I love sport. Like, I ski raced. I did, like, in high school, I did 5 sports. I did, field hockey, soccer, gymnastics, basketball, and volleyball. And then what some people don't know is I actually was on point shoes. I was a ballerina.
No way.
Yeah. So, yeah, I used to do dance, like modern, contemporary, jazz, and point.
Wow.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
So we can get you and Jenna to women's basketball practice one day? Is what you're
I
telling me?
cannot play basketball. I was like the fast one that dribbled it up the court. Like,
You're the point guard.
I'm the point guard.
Yeah.
I'm the passer and the one that runs back on defense. I'll just run anywhere you want me to.
Yeah.
Don't ask me to score points. I'll just no.
Well, that was your game in college, right? I mean, assist maker.
Yeah, I'm not a fancy forward. No,
Yeah.
I never was. I was like the center midi. Yeah, I had an energy problem when I was a kid, so put me wherever I have to run the most, and I'm a happy camper.
Well, Ali, we've been going 50 minutes. I don't know
Wow.
if you've realized that. Yeah.
Jeez.
That's the reaction every time that I tell people that. And I'm sure we could go another 50, but I know you're busy.
We'll have you back.
No one wants to listen to this voice for another 50 minutes.
I mean, I think this is a very entertaining interview. This has been awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
We wanted to get you on earlier in the summer as our LaBatt Blue Summer Patio Series.
You were gone.
Yeah, but you were
I went on vacation for the first time in 3 years.
Well, it's funny because like I didn't have your number, and our comms people were out, so I was like, well, I guess I just have to email her. And then you call me, you're like, hey, I'm actually going to Canada like tomorrow. And I'll be gone for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll make this work. So I'm glad we were able to get you on before the season and before things get busy. So
Yeah,
thanks
thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Anytime.
We'll have you back. We'll see you practice soon with Aaron.
Yes, I can't wait. I'm going to go talk to him right now.
Perfect.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.